Okay, so now let's go ahead and try some of the summation notation stuff. So what I'm going to go through quickly is just the four properties and explain how they work. So right here, if you have the summation of A plus or minus B, this can be broken up into two separate summations. So you can have the summation A, then plus or minus the summation of B. Property number two, if you have the summation of R times A, you can pull the A out and bring it in front, or sorry, the R out to bring it in front. So you'll have R times the summation 1 to n of A. Over here, if you have the summation of A from 1 to n, you can break up this interval, 1 to n, into two separate intervals. So let's say you can go from 1 to m, where m is some number in between 1 and n, and then you can go from m plus 1 all the way up to n. So it's just saying the same thing, we can just break the interval up into two separate parts. And then finally here, property number 4, if you have the summation of A from 1 to n, and you decide to add any constant number to both the bottom interval and the top interval, the top range, you must subtract that same amount from the variable within the summation. And this will make more sense once we do some problems. So let's go ahead and try a basic example problem right here. So you can solve this in two ways. We're going to try first to use the properties, and I'm going to try a little bit more simple way of solving this. So using the properties, we recognize that this is 3i minus 1. So we can first break these up into two parts using property number 1, so two separate summations. So this becomes the summation of I equals 1 to 3 of 3i minus another summation, I equals 1 to 3 of 1. Now we notice we have a 3i, which is very similar to the RA, so we can break this up and using property number 2. So this will become 3 times the summation, I equals 1, 2, 3 of I minus, and then we just bring this back down. So now we can pretty much solve. So let's solve this side first. This side's the easier side to solve. So whenever you have just a constant, so just a constant just means just a number right here. As long as it's indexed from 1 to something, all you do to solve this summation is take this number times the top number. So 1 times 3 is 3. So we put a minus 3 right there. So again, it was just this times this. That only works as long as this bottom index is 1. So now let's talk about how we solve this. So the way this is going to work is you're going to plug in 1 into I, then 2 into I, and then 3 into I. So basically if your range is 1 to 3, you plug in all the numbers from 1 to 3 in for the variable. So it'll become, and so remember we still have a times 3 at the end. So what we'll do is we'll sum these numbers together, multiply by 3. So we'll have that 3 times, now we're going to plug in 1 into I, so we get 1, plus now we're going to plug in 2, plus now we can plug in 3, and that's our answer. So now we just do 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6, so 3 times 6 minus 3, this becomes 18 minus 3, so our final answer is 15. So that's how you do a little bit of a basic problem. Now we can try and use a little bit more of the properties in an advanced problem.